Good morning, everyone. Thank you
Good
for
morning.
joining us for the morning show with the twins. I'm Carrie Little,
And I'm Mina Blazy, or Dr. Mina.
and today we're going to talk about ChatGPT graphs and charts. And here's why. Last week, on the last episode of the Sunday morning show, Mina and I were just kind of hanging out with data, and we ended up in real estate data. And then over this past few days, Mina has been playing with ChatGPT and data. So what I figured I would do is let Mina kind of share with you what she has kind of figured out with using AI, ChatGPT graphs and charts. And then I'm going to have her show me what she did using my data.
Okay, so last week I had this epiphany. Well, more like all I wanted was a table, and I wasn't looking for a graph. I just wanted it to take some data anywhere, like you grab it, copy, cut, and paste, and it just throw it into ChatGPT and say, kind of reorganize this and make it where it's in columns and rows. That's something ChatGPT has been doing since November of 2022. But typically, what we had to do is we had to like copy it and put it into like Excel or put it into Google Sheets and then manipulate it and then make the graph. Well, like the day before you and I talked, I went in and I put some data in, and all I wanted was the data table. That was it. And I said, and then create a visual. But when I say create a visual, I meant like this cute image that I could throw it into my blog that I was going to create later. It didn't do that. It created a full on like graph that was relevant to the data. And I was so taken back by it that I was live, and I was like, okay, I have to pause because it was so new. Like ChatGPT is so exponentially going faster and faster and faster that I heard, I don't know who it was. I think it was Seth Godin who said, if you aren't in ChatGPT every day, you don't know what it is. Like for 20 minutes a day. I'm almost going to argue that maybe it should be even longer, because if I miss a day, I've missed the new stuff. And there's been new stuff since the new stuff. Like, and maybe it's something we can even look at, but I just was so overwhelmingly excited that I had to literally pause live. I was like, okay, this is what happened. Because now, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, and people can't just say, I don't know how to manipulate charts and tables. I don't even know I don't even know where to begin. ChatGPT did it for me. Like, and the amount of time that it takes me to take a Google Sheet with the rows and the columns and then select chart in Excel or in Google Sheets and then say do I want a bar graph? Do I want a line graph? Do I want whatever graph? It did it just like that.
So, and you said something important is, you know, people, when we go to create any kind of graph, whether it's in Excel or Google or Canva, you work hard at it. And you said that when you put it in, it was like quick, it was instant. And then you also said that if we're not leveraging ChatGPT or AI and looking at it consistently, probably every day, more than 20 minutes, you don't know what it is.
No.
So clearly I need a minute to catch up because
You don't know what the power of AI is. And AI, and we've talked about it before, but people forget what AI is because we get so used to it. Like, kids have iPhones. That's AI. But right now, the term AI is really looking at how fast it can help you be more productive. Like it is, I think AI is going to not only help us be more productive, I think it's going to give me time to just be with friends and family, because I mean, we could choose to do more and more, or we can say the amount of time that it would have taken me to do 8 hours of work in 8 hours, I just did in 2.5 hours. So now I have this extra, 4.5 so hours that I can just hang out. Like we could travel, we could do things, we can learn about the world. It just made me sit back and just go, ooh, the things
so
I
because
can do.
what you're saying is basically when you use AI, it's not like you're using it to do the work for you. You're using it as almost as an assistant to help you work faster.
Right. Faster and faster. And Yeah, could it do the work for me? I mean, it depends on what it is. Like created a chart for me, so it did do the work for me. I still have to interpret it. And I could still ask ChatGPT to say, hey, I'm not quite sure how to interpret this. It looks intriguing. I don't know what to think about this. I mean, I might know how to interpret it. You definitely will know how to interpret it, but it's there as this great tool that not everybody is leveraging. And I mean, people are talking about it everywhere, and then people are talking about it nowhere.
And what's interesting is yesterday, for the next two next two Saturdays. So I mean, the next Saturday, yesterday, Saturday, and next Saturday, I'm teaching a course in person, and and it's an all day class, and we got to a section on value proposition. And so whenever I teach, I bring in tech. The course calls for tech, and we were in the section where it was talking about bringing in technology, creating your value proposition. And I said, let me help you, all of you. When we talk about your value proposition, typically what a real estate agent does. And for those of you that don't know, I'm in the real estate space. What we think about in real estate is how do I explain my value? And so I went down the route of, here, let me show all of you how you can get your value proposition. Although I truly believe that if you work the process beginning, middle, and end, you work with your client, you take them through the process, um, you have them work with the loan officers, the attorneys, you show them homes, you tell them everything you're going to do, you take them to the closing table. Your value is in the entire process. However, with the updates and the changes in the real estate industry, they're being challenged to come up with their value proposition. So this is what we did. I said, let me help all of you, because usually I do this when I'm teaching someone how to come up with their elevator pitch. And I said, tell me every job you've had, and we're going to use everyone in the room. And we had maybe about 75 people in class. So I had everyone in the room tell me what they've done in their life as a job. And I said, but don't tell me who you worked for. Summarize it in, if you worked at Sears Roebuck and Company as a sales rep, you worked in maybe retail. If you worked at a company and you were the person at the front desk, maybe you were the administrative assistant. So everybody, it was like spitting out everything they did. Then I said, now what we're going to do is, and some people were like, oh, I worked in a bar. And I said, okay, so you have the gift of getting people to give you more money, because now you have the gift of gab, and your goal is to be happy, have conversation, and be the person that is the problem solver. Because when you're the bartender, you get all the dirt, right? Or you get everything you get probably at the hair salon and the nail salon. So everyone was spitting out things, from being a nurse, from being an EMT, working at the bar, someone worked in luxury design, someone was an interior designer. So some people worked in manufacturing. And so I'm like, if you worked in manufacturing, you understand logistics. So when everyone spit everything out, and I kind of coached them through what that meant they did, we took that and I said, now we're going to open up this thing called ChatGPT. So here's me summing this up. Most of the people in the class were not using AI, Mina.
No. See,
So
I told you.
they didn't know what they didn't know. And when I took everything they did, and I probably should almost share this with you, but let me do let me
Yeah, show it
maybe
because I'm curious. Now I'm like curious.
I am going to show you. But what I thought I would do before I show you is, I wanted to send this, I wanted to post on social media that we are live now on YouTube. And so I'm going to I'm going to show you the Google form, not the Google form, the Google Doc where I took notes, and then I'll show you the outcome. And then I want you to show me how to create these graphs and charts. Sending now, so we can get some more people to join us live. Oh, I forgot. You're bigger than me. Okay. So here I am. I'm going to go to my Google Docs. Let me refresh because it's already been open. At least that's what I thought. Google Docs. This was me yesterday. I'll share my screen. Oh, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Maybe I'll do this. So share screen. Which screen do I want to share? Um, there it is. Here we go. So this is what we came up with. Tell me you can see it, Mina.
I can see it.
So when we look at this, I actually wrote down what I was going to ask ChatGPT, but I was asking everyone in class. So what did you do? Someone said I was an event planner. I studied brain waves. Isn't that interesting? I was a luxury retail manager. I was a legal assistant, a paramedic, an interior designer, insurance claim rep, behavior technician.
That's a lot.
That to me, I felt like, and remember when we created this value proposition, it was based on everyone in the room. And I told everyone they're going to write, I wanted to show them how to think. Title examiner, expert in customer service, retail manager. I was a nail technician, nurse, and business instructor. So then what I did, Mina, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to change my screen. At least I think I'm going to change. Because now I got to figure out how to. Well, I'll stop sharing is what I'll do. Hold on.
Can you?
So,
Okay.
so now, I'm going to go this route. So now let's go to the other screen. Chrome tab or just all of it. I want to just do the entire screen. Here we go. So here's ChatGPT. And then this is what we came up with. Maybe I need to zoom in so people can read it as I hold my coffee. So I asked ChatGPT to write a value proposition using my job history as a real estate agent in 2 to 3 sentences. I probably could define that better, but here's what it came up with. With a rich and diverse background spanning event planning, luxury retail management, customer service, and even healthcare as a paramedic and nurse instructor, I bring a unique, well-rounded perspective to real estate. My expertise in communication, attention to detail, and understanding of clients' needs, combined with my skills in interior design and legal processes, allow me to deliver tailored, high-quality service for every transaction. Man, all just simply by using ChatGPT.
Okay. So and
So go
then what
ahead.
else?
So, I mean, my point is you said people are not using ChatGPT. So I wanted to show you how I integrated it into just the simple parts of it. So what I want you to do is I want you to show me how can I use this using data to build a graph? Because last week we talked about you were able to use use the data to explain how it's relevant to you as someone that's in the data field in the education arena. And then we even figured out that your data ties into my data and how we should be collaborating. So now let's talk about how if I were maybe presenting, or maybe I'm having a conversation with a consumer, or maybe having a conversation with an educator, like how can I use ChatGPT to create this graph? Should I share my screen?
Yes. And while you're sharing your screen, I will say that there are a lot of other platforms out there, Copilot. There is perplexity.ai, Claude.ai, Gemini, and some other ones. And what I have found, and I've used them all, ChatGPT is still the most efficient and the one that gives you the most accurate information. Now, they all will, depending on what kind of prompt you give it. But right now, all of them are generative artificial intelligence or artificial generative intelligence, meaning it's going to generate something based on what you ask it to do and pull all the stuff together. It's just that right now, OpenAI's platform is so good that I mean, it's almost as if the other companies are trying to collaborate with them because it just is generating better. And I'm not saying I haven't used the other ones, but I'm going to say, and Copilot is a Microsoft product, and so is OpenAI's. It collaborates with Microsoft, but there's this idea that we can use them all, But right now we are so focused on using ChatGPT because it every time I go into it, I have this wow moment. I can't say that I get that wow moment all the time with Gemini or Copilot. And I'm not saying it's still great, but I feel like I'm always getting this like firework confetti in my head every time I go into ChatGPT. So you want to share your
Okay, so
screen to
here I go.
like tell me.
All right, so here we are sharing screen. So this is what I have. I'm gonna, trying to,
I think
what did I share with you? Did I
the
share the wrong
video,
screen?
which is always amazing because it's the abyss. You're sharing the abyss.
Here, let me share. Stop sharing. Share. Entire screen. This screen. Share. Is it the right screen? There we go.
Right.
Okay. So now here's what I have, Mina. So I have August data. I have my prompt that's already created, but this was July data. So what I was thinking I would do this time, because usually what I do is I come here, I look at the most recent data, and then I find the median sales price and I literally update it here. So this is what I typically do, but I was thinking since, and I'm not going to do all of it, just this is what I do. So what I was thinking I would do is use this prompt to compare and contrast the data, or make a new prompt and then just because I can just upload this, right? Can't I just upload this?
Right.
So I'll
So,
save it. We'll call this West Chicago, August 2024. And then what I was doing is I was using the same. So this is the current data. Every month we get the current data. And then I want to compare it to August 2013. And then you think we can get a graph out of this. So maybe you should just tell me what to write. So let's go to ChatGPT. What do I need to say? I can't hear you for some reason. So
yeah, no, my fault. That's my fault. The
should I
first thing
say
that
this? Should I just take this and
in
not and then remove, like, so I have compare and contrast the data for West Chicago in a table format. Here, let's edit the prompt. How about
well,
that?
you could decide how you want to do it. Like you can take that because it's only as good as the prompt. I usually start out with automatically uploading that PDF, like the little paper clip there.
Okay.
Um, that's usually what I do first because then you have to
Here we go. Let me
decide
go do that.
before I do anything. I would go into ChatGPT
Okay.
and I would go to that little paper clip on the left and at least put my PDF in there. And the reason why I choose to do that first is because it might take a couple seconds, minutes, depend. You see how it's circling? It's faster now. It used to take sometimes more than a minute to grab it, depending on how large the file is. So you have it in there now, and you have two in there, correct?
Correct.
And what you wanted to do is, I just want to make sure I'm right. You have like July and August.
I have August 2024 and August 2013.
2013, like 1 3.
Yeah, so I'm comparing August of this year to 11 years ago.
Okay,
August.
so that's the conversation is you want to compare and you can immediately it doesn't have to be this perfect grammatically correct sentence. And I don't know what that says. It's a little small for me on my computer. To my left it's larger, but it's a little
Here, I'll
delayed.
do this.
So can you just read that out loud while you copy it?
Yep, and I'm going to make it bigger.
Oh yeah.
So I have, and I compare and contrast the data for West Chicago, Illinois in a table format using the data from August 2024 compared to August 2013.
Okay, so because you're
Oh,
now
wait.
you're being very specific. The other thing is that Do you want a visual? The word visual for some reason makes the chart, makes the graph. The word image will create an AI image that you can use in some marketing piece.
So
So
here,
that
let's
was
do this since I'm creating a new prompt. How about we try this first and then you tell me how to add the graphs?
right. But what I wanted you to do, go ahead and put that in the chart. I mean in the prompt area. But before you do that, can you open up those two PDFs so people can see that what it looks like? I don't want to make it okay. So you have that. Maybe put our pictures on the right so people can see the PDF. I don't because I don't have
Oh, I'll
access
just
to
do,
do
let
that.
me go back so I can just go back and forth to them because it might be, of course, let me go this route.
Yeah,
So let me see if I can get us, um, um, um,
because one of the things that I do when I can go fast and I'm trying to slow down a little bit because this information is new to me. So I'm not going to assume that real estate agents, it might not be new to you, but you can see that it says some information on the left. When you look at a table, it's got single family detached, single family attached. It's got columns for August, and it says new listings, closed listings, inventory of homes on the very top, right above the word August and trailing. Like it tells you that at the very top. It gives you some pluses, which means that sometimes people see a plus, and they just always assume it's good. It depends. Change in new listings, it's an increase. That's a good thing. And
it's a
then the
good
other
thing for buyers.
Right, it's a good thing for buyers. So the question, I'm just trying to get a grasp on what this looks like. And then the other thing that's the negative that I can't necessarily see quite yet because it's a little behind. Oh, there, change in closed sales. So that's a decrease. That's not necessarily a good thing for sellers and agents. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like look at the PDF sometimes, or if you don't know, this could be where you take that PDF and throw it into ChatGPT and say, "I don't get this. Can you explain it to me?" And then while it's explaining it to you, you're looking at the PDF at the same time. So I just thought I would throw that out. Now let's go and try it.
Okay, here we go. So click the arrow or enter. Boom. You see this?
Hmm.
The median sales price increased significantly, 88.4%, indicating a substantial rise in home values over the 11-year period.
Yeah.
Market time decreased, which is a good thing for sellers. Inventory of homes dropped, which is a good thing for sellers because if it causes prices to go up. The number of closed and new listings decreased as well, reflecting activity in terms of transactions and new properties entering the market compared to 2013. The data illustrates a significant shift towards a more competitive and expensive housing market in West Chicago, Illinois. Okay, now what?
And okay, so depending on who's looking at it, you might have questions. I have questions. I mean, last week we realized and talked about like seniors and affordable housing, them moving into something that is more manageable so other people can move into the area. Like this gives me data on, well, you may want to sell your house. You paid it off and you could do other things with the money that you want to do that you may have not been able to do because you're sitting on a large amount of money and you have to manage this house. I'm like, that is what I just read in all of that. And I'm not sure how you saw it, but typically when I do the in ChatGPT, I actually go back, I slow down, and I read what it told me because you kind of want to know what does this tell you? Like you and I don't know that we always do that. And ChatGPT will spit stuff out and it's like a waterfall. It rains, it throws it fire hoses you, and it's too much. But it may not be too much for some of you because some of you will put it in there and you're like, I got this. But for some, it's really, really, it can be really hard or too much. So, okay, I like this. I've noticed that with ChatGPT now, with adding the word visual to get the desired graphic. So that's where we're going now. So now, based on what it has, this is somewhat of a new prompt. And we can decide what that looks like, but I would say using the two PDFs that I gave you.
Oh, hold on. I'm clicking buttons, so you disappeared.
Oh,
Hold
it's okay.
on, Nina. Say it using the two PDFs yeah, go for it.
That's where I ended, and using the two PDFs
Oh, say
that
this. So using the two PDFs that I uploaded, right?
yes, create at least one visual
Mm-hmm.
that will help me as a real estate agent. Because before you hit enter, you could say that would help me help my client, that would help me help the school district, that would help me whatever the outcome is. Like, you may be, if you put all that in there at once, you could keep changing, you could do it all at
Okay, got it.
once, and it would rainfall and fire hose. I wanted to tell you that, like, you could say help me as an agent, help my customer who, or my client that lives in West Chicago, so that that's selling their home, to help my client that's buying a home. Like, you have so many things that you can do, because prompting is, it's somewhat of an art. It's like talking to someone and having a collaborative conversation, like that think tank. That's what it's doing for you. It's this collaborative partnership that you're having with somebody that is like the smartest person in the world. But the smartest people in the world can also give you some crazy stuff. So, just so you know,
I'm
something to
hitting
think
enter.
about. Like,
Do I hit enter?
ChatGPT is, the smart people, they may, ChatGPT does not have street smarts. That's what I mean. It's like
So should I hit enter?
yeah, so hit enter now. Let it do what it's doing, because we want to see what's happening. Because I'm not quite sure where it's going yet. Let it do it. I know what this is, but we're gonna let it do it and let people see it.
What does do it mean?
It's what I'm seeing is it's giving me the probably the Python background. It's showing you the programming language for somebody who's really smart, that has to build this, that works in an organization that used to have to do this behind the scene, and now you have access to those people. So
So
wait,
there it
before you,
is.
that arrows, you have the little arrows like this, you can expand it right in there. Do you see it? Oh, you could do it that way, but if you minimize that,
Oh, okay. Let me go back.
because now, because and I'm gonna look over here, because it, for me, it's a little smaller.
Let me make
But
it bigger. Oh, because you're on.
no,
Yeah.
because I see what you see, so it's okay. But why don't you just talk me through it? It says inventory of homes for sale. Talk me through the graph on the first graph. Like, what does the, I'm going to use some language, the x axis, the bottom where I think it has the years, say,
So
and
this
then
is
the
just
y
this is
axis.
August 2013 by itself. This is not the full. This is not a rolling calendar. This is just August 2013 compared to August 2024. Just how many days are in August? 30,
No,
31.
31.
30 days. Okay. So 31 days in August. And so what we're seeing with the median sales prices, it's showing you that there's a significant increase in median sales price for a detached home, because I use detached. Then you can see in this one that August 2013 compared to 2024, that market time has gone down significantly. So if I'm a home seller, what this means to a home seller is you can make more money, you can sell your house for more money than you could have in 2013, and your home should not be on the market long at all. So this is market time is down significantly. Then what's this last one? Oh, I got something in the way. Let's see, hide this share thing. So this one is inventory of homes. So this tells me that there were more homes on the market in August of 2013 as opposed to August 2024. And if I'm a home seller, this tells me that I don't have a lot of competition. And that is really why values are up. Not a lot of competition. Market time is quick, and I don't have competition. If I'm a home buyer, this tells me that if I see a house today, I should write the house. Yeah, I should have wrote an offer yesterday, because there's probably going to be a multiple offer situation. You're
Can you scroll
probably
down
writing
just a
an
little bit?
offer.
Is
Go
there,
ahead.
are you able to scroll so we can see that last graph a little
It
better or
doesn't
no?
really let me.
Okay.
I'd have to probably do this.
That's okay. That's you can
That's
and
it. I mean, that's
you can
it.
make it bigger here by control, I think, or
What I was doing,
possibly.
that's why I went this route. So let's see. Whoops, I don't want that. I want this.
Oh yeah, that works. So two options. You can download it or you can expand it in ChatGPT. So this works.
So now what do I want to do? So again, if I were working with a client and I'm a buyer's agent, I need to, if I shared something like this with the consumer that's buying, I'm giving them the reality of, you're writing a full price offer, if not higher. You probably want to be fully underwritten with your mortgage broker or the loan officer. You want to make sure you've turned in all your paperwork. You want to make sure that you are putting yourself in the best position. So my value proposition as a real estate agent is, I use data to help you make a better decision. Kind of cool.
Well, and the thing is that that felt quick and easy, and we can get stuck with what it is. And it's telling you right there. It tells you the median sales price is significant, a significant increase. It told you what you already knew. It gave you the average market time. It told you what you already said. And then it describes the last one, inventory of homes for sale. So that's why it's important to slow down, even though you knew what the answer was, but not everybody else will. And I kind of like that you did that because you showed it like this is what it is. And not everybody reads graphs the same way. Not everybody understands how to read graphs. And I can tell you, if you go back up to the graph just for a moment, we read graphs, and so if you could go back up to the graph and just scroll up.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back.
So when you're looking at the graph, so we read graphs from y-axis to left to x-axis. So and I have to see the actual axes and I can't. So I'm going to wait a second until it pops up in front of me. But when we do that, and you notice, here's what's so amazing. ChatGPT wrote these graphs, the title, the way every graph should be written when you have an X and Y axis. It wrote median sales price in West Chicago, Y axis, versus the amount of time or what time we're talking about. 2013 versus 2024 in West Chicago. So sales prices, Y axis, it comes first in a title. People don't know this. And the bottom one is it's telling you it's by the
And
months
that's
or the
X,
years.
Y,
So
X.
right. So X axis down here, Y here. And I'm only telling you this because if you ever decide to create the graph, there's a reason why we read it from left to right. And that's just some extra information. But what I would almost like to do is to say, now to ask ChatGPT, now that I know this information, what conversation could I have with community members that have lived in the area for over 20 years, have paid off their house, and they're getting older? Before you hit enter, I want to add something. A period, just put a period there because I was processing that as I said it out loud. Also, what would the marketing piece be for a mailer if I wanted to do this in my community? Because what I saw, yes, there will definitely be a replay. But because what I clearly saw last week was people aren't moving, and I'm in education. Teachers want to keep their jobs, administrators want to keep their jobs, and students are not showing up to school, meaning in certain areas. A couple of reasons. One, they probably realized with COVID they could go, be homeschooled. The other is they also realize they can do school online. But the more important one is people are not moving out of communities where there are schools, and they're empty nesters, and we're landlocked. My definition of landlocked means you can't build any more houses, so people can't move in to live there. So this is an intriguing conversation.
Do I
So
hit
what
enter?
so what are your thoughts? And one, you can hit enter, yes.
That's what my thoughts are. Can I hit enter? Given the trends you've identified, conversation with longtime community members who have paid off their homes are getting older can revolve around topics that resonate with the current life stage and financial situation. Here are some key conversations: maximizing your home equity, downsizing for simplicity, aging in place, estate planning, the current market advantage, market strategy, headline, subheadline, body. Um, Man, call to action, visuals, a graph showing the increase. The mailer would speak directly to their financial situation, offering practical solutions while being sensitive to their stage in life. And to basically, ChatGPT helped me avoid fair housing. That's what I heard. Fair housing
Wow.
violation.
Tell me why you need to explain that?
What I'm saying is because um, there we're reaching people that could sell. They may or may not be seniors. They could just be empty nesters, because we're getting to that point, but we're people that could sell and move to allow someone else to take occupancy of a property that might have enough space for kids. And
Right.
with fair housing, we have to target all different groups. So in this case, it is they're giving me visuals. I could choose someone that, a retired couple. It doesn't have to be someone that's older. It could just be someone that's sitting and sipping coffee in their new condo. There's so many ways you could build this. Contact me for no obligation consultation about your home's value and your options. And here's what's crazy is clearly ChatGPT knows who I am.
See? Well, okay. I mean, if you really wanted to push it for fun, you can say, create an image that I can use on the back of my postcard, and make sure that it is rectangle so it fits on a 6x9 or a 4x7, or I don't know, 7x4 or something. Make it up. Don't do 6x9, do 9x6 inches. Make it diverse,
I
fun,
don't know. Let's see
and
what
I know,
happens. I
but
just
let's, what, I'm very curious of what it'll do. Sometimes it'll make the rectangle, sometimes it won't. It likes to stick in the whole square thing, and even though we probably, because a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. But anyway, ooh, we did it. I don't.
shut up.
Wait, click on that bad boy. Did it do the right language? It didn't. So you might have to block things out and cover it up, but I almost would want it. You could almost create that on your own, but look at it. Wow.
I don't know what that means, but it's trying. So clearly, ChatGPT has some ways to play. ChatGPT has a ways to go, but here's the layout of this says, hold on, let me see. Yes, yeah, I did, Mina. Hold on, I don't even know what I just did.
No,
Um,
and the
I
thing
hid
is that
us when we were talking, but now we're back. I did that so people could see it.
right, but you could redo it and say no words, just photo. You could
Well,
try
I
it.
could, but I've got the design, and what's great about this is real in the real estate space. We are in the business of working with the consumer. In the real estate space, many of us did not come from a design background. But what I like about this is ChatGPT gave me the layout. I can now go over to Canva and I can rebuild this, and it gives you the structure that's clean. It's, they show you that it's framed out well, it's not too far to the edges. Like, to me, this is, you just need the design concept. They gave me a clean, crisp design concept, and then I can go. I now, and ChatGPT gave me the what is it? The words, the creative. They gave me everything I need to put in the graphic. Right? You disappear on me, Mina? Or are you
No,
working?
no, that's what I was saying. I was like, you literally could go to Canva and say and put the background in. You could make it your own brand colors. People could do that. And if they don't know how, of course, you have a course for all of the things like that. But the idea is you could at least, and what I like is that it put this idea in the middle, and it made you feel like you were getting the keys. Like when I got my keys to the house I'm living in now, which will be a year soon, um, I just was like, I got the keys. So that visual is huge.
I just wanted to see what it was going to
What did
say.
you ask it?
I asked if it would build it for Canva, or do I have to then go to the G to the where
The
is it at, Mina?
GPT, you could. I still would push it because I don't know that I like a Canva one yet. You could. In other words, what she's saying, everyone, is that you could ChatGPT, they used to be called plugins, but now they're called Explore GPTs. Like other people have built connections. So like Dolly is a GPT already built into the platform, and it basically will connect it. I think you had it at the top.
Sure.
It's interesting that it's not there because I can find it, but mine usually click on the GPTs, click on the Explore GPT again on the
Up
left.
here.
No, on the mini waffle. Yeah.
That's what I clicked.
And sometimes it's already there. So hit productivity.
Hold
No,
on.
go back. Go back to the four things. It's got top picks, writing, productivity. There. Yeah. It's under productivity.
Okay.
And now you can select, say start chat. It's going to give you a new chat, but you almost would have to give it a new prompt because it takes you out of that chat.
So me going down, I can just click and forget everybody's here. Well, let me do two.
Yeah, we
And
don't want
then
that.
let's see if we can break it. From West Chicago, Illinois, comparing the data. I don't know, might break it. It probably could have been a little more specific, right?
I don't think it's attached to Dolly here. I don't think that it is um integrating. So it basically gives you an idea of what you can build in Canva. It doesn't give you the visual.
How do you know?
It lately has not been sometimes I have to tell it to connect, hit allow to Canva. Sometimes it does it. Sometimes it doesn't. So it still tells you it's a Chat GPT plugin. So now there it is. There. Now it gave it to you. Now you can click on it. It'll take you directly to Canva.
But it's still not giving us what we want.
No, it's not the same idea. It's still not yet. Let me preface it with yet. It's doing what it thinks because it's pulling how Canva works. If you go into Canva and you search like a template, That's what it's doing. It's like giving you the ideas that are already in Canva.
So I like this version. The first way we built this is we came here, we asked ChatGPT to create the graphic, but they use Dolly, and I have the layout, which is great. And now I can just go take this concept and rebuild it in Canva. That I think is
Right.
better.
But it would be interesting if you went back to the other one and clicked on the link so people can see what happens. Because, whenever there's a hyperlink, you almost want to know what's going to happen.
It looks like a calendar.
So can't you click on it?
Yeah,
Does it take you to Canva?
yeah.
And so if you really wanted to use it, it still did it. Like it's done. Like if you wanted to create a Canva for somebody for the year, it it's not as,
It didn't do
proficient
what we
yet,
wanted.
yet. But one day it will be.
So, okay. So now that we've talked about graphs and charts, what are your takeaways on using graphs and charts in chat gpt, and then maybe for those of you that are watching, what do you want us to come back with? And so what let me start with this. Let me see, do we have any conversations or chats? Here we are. Ebony, I'm wondering if you have to be really specific with the prompt in the Canva plugin, but I do like the step-by-step Canva instructions.
So,
Mina,
yeah. So what do you want to
you see the
respond to
question?
that?
She was asking everything you just explained, that really if you want to use Canva, it's not there yet. So going the route of just in ChatGPT, because Dolly's connected, you're going to get the graphic that you probably will like, and then you have to go rebuild the concept in Canva.
I think that's the thing is I would stay in ChatGPT for now, but I also would play with Canva because one day you're going to have that, oh my gosh, this just happened to me moment. And it's going that's why being in it every day is a big deal. That's why I, you just got to click and play and type and ask questions. And, who knows what you're going to get. Sometimes what I've learned is that typing and asking ChatGPT questions, I become better at it. Even if I had to give somebody a takeaway though, and especially real estate agents, and even if you're in education, coming from that perspective, where can you find some data that you have been trying to understand? Let's say you go to a conference and they talk about all this data, it's public data, and you're like, you tune out because you can't understand it. I would be at least either take a screenshot of it if it's a downloaded PDF or a copy, cut, and paste, even though the data will look crazy when you throw it into ChatGPT. I would put in that prompt and say, put this in a table, put it in a visual, and then explain it to me because I don't get it. Like, say it. Say it, because if you say I don't get it, it's now going to put it in terms where you understand it. And you could even say, explain it to me like I was in eighth grade. Explain it to me using language that does not have to be this high level language where nobody understands but you. Stuff like that. Like that's one thing I would tell people to do, and I would almost start there to just start learning and becoming really good at asking ChatGPT to help you understand a concept. Like we can become self learners, so we can learn to learn, and that's the part that I would take with ChatGPT.
Here's a good question from a Nebraska realtor. Um, on if I don't know if you did this or not, but I would like to create a graph on interest rates. Now, remember, we are real estate agents, and our job is to communicate the information and to show maybe the history. So what I am going to do is I'm going to, I'm going to try this, Mina. You can tell me if you think it's going to work, but I'm going to actually just go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to show the interest rates over the decades. I don't know how far back. I could be very specific, but remember, as real estate agents, our goal is to refer people to people that is what their expertise, not to be out of the scope of work that we do for a living. But it would, if I'm sitting down with a client, I want to be able to show them, let me show you the change in the interest rates over the years, and then you can have a conversation around why interest rates dropped during the pandemic. That I understand and that I know. But just know, always refer people back to who their lenders are. So here we are. Let me.
Yeah, what's interesting about that statement, and I actually like it as a consumer, um, the person from Nebraska, because
Go ahead,
people
keep talking,
believe.
and I'm going to. This is what
Okay,
I'll do: is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to build the prompt, and while you're talking, and then I'll come back. Go ahead.
okay. So I think people believe that make me bigger. People believe that interest rates or the actually drive whether or not we buy. And so we feel like my assumption, I'm not an agent, that we feel like we have to tell people, oh, interest rates are down, you should buy a house. I did. If you knew what my interest rate was, most people, they're like, and what my interest rate was before I sold my other house, it's significantly different. The difference between that is like 5%. Like the difference, like that's much how much higher it is. And I was only moved by, I wanted to be closer to like the world. Like I lived in an area that was isolated from where I live. I'm closer to a bigger city. I'm closer to more opportunities. That was what moved me. The experience. It's kind of like here in California, we all like to talk about the experience, Disneyland. So I bought a house because of the experience, not because of the interest rate, knowing that in the future I could change it if it goes down. So, and I know that in real estate, if you're an agent, that's not you're supposed to kind of go to your originator or your loan officer, whatever that is, let them handle that. But I think personally, if you focus so much on that, that it might deter people, like, oh my gosh, if you believe the interest rate is too high, or if you believe you have to tell people how low it has gone, you'll move people away from buying a house. I will challenge you though. You can go into ChatGPT and say, what are three things that I can help my community of clients to focus on, that is a positive in the area, so that they want to either sell their home or purchase a home, like
So
instead of
here's what I
focusing
got,
on
Mimi.
things like that. But okay,
I'm just
so
going to
let's go
ask.
here.
So everything you said is correct. But this is what I'm thinking she might be saying, because I do see another question. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me the history around interest rates from the 60s. And I think the goal is to show the change. And right now, this is just a lot. Like, I'm just asking the question, more information that I'm going to actually read right now. Because the next question is, I think,
Put it
do
in a chart.
ChatGPT to make changes in the graph, or do you import it into Canva for change? Oh, that's a different one. Let me go back. That
I
I'll
would have
come back
told
to
it, put
yours.
that in a table. I can't read that.
Right, but I wanted to show agents that they can go get the history first. Then I wanted, so now give me the prompt that we're going to put in for to get the graph and chart. What's the prompt?
The prompt is take all this information, put it into a table and a visual so that it's easier for me to see. That's a lot of information. At least it's showing us how much information it's spitting out. But anytime you do this and somebody sees this information, it's giving you the what is happening on the back end and what programmers have to do to create these visuals sometimes. It's showing you this. It's like, it's like behind the curtain, the dude from The Wizard of Oz. It's pulling the curtain back to say, this is how smart you now are with ChatGPT, and this is what it's doing for you. And so you almost look at it and go, wow, instead of like, ooh, yikes. It's let it do it, and then it goes away. And it might stay there sometimes. Ooh,
I provided a table that summarizes the history of mortgage interest rates from the 1960s to today, along with a visual chart that shows the range of rates for each decade. This should make it easier for you to explain the trends to buyers and sellers. The table highlights the economic conditions, key events, and the typical mortgage rate ranges over time, while the chart visually depicts how rates have fluctuated across the decades. Let me know if you'd like me to adjust. But look, and here's what I really like is ChatGPT is giving me the ability to ask it more questions.
Can we see the chart? Because that was kind
Yeah,
of
I just wanted you to see this.
well, it's guiding you, which is smarter. Does it give you a table? It did. Can you expand the table? So I think what people last week we showed that you could download it and then import it into Google Sheets with ease. If you really, I don't know that you want to do it with this. That's up to you. But it already did the table for or the visual, the graph for you.
So I'll go back. And now I'm talking to my clients that's a buyer, because this is what you were saying is don't make someone afraid. But now you can see that in the 60s,
Can you
we
expand
had,
it or do the
oh,
download like before? Either way,
I'm going to download it. I just think it might be easier.
it's a nice graph, Carrie. I'm looking at this graph and I'm beside. For me, this is like I don't know. I build graphs for a living, and and I'm like so beside myself right now. Like the amount of this would have taken me if if I had the table, if I had to build the table like that table and then put it into Google Sheets or Excel, and then I had to create the graph on a good day where I can be really focused and no one interrupts me, an hour. It could take up to 2 hours. It could be now well, maybe even longer because now I gotta manipulate the y-axis because it's giving me the perfect intervals, like the perfect numbers on the left, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then the years at the bottom in perfect intervals by 10. Like, people don't
Yeah, I'm
think
now
that way.
Dr. Lawrence Yun of the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors. I like what Marcia said. This eighth grader loves how you took the two reports and asked ChatGPT to create. Marcia is not an eighth grader, but I do understand that we brought it down to a level that anyone can explain. And the value in this is now my friend from Nebraska, it just says Nebraska Realtor. Tell us in the chat who you are.
But
But
18% in the 1980s?
well,
Boy,
here's the right,
everybody
like
should buy a
I
house.
wouldn't have been able to buy, but this tells me now when I'm sitting with a buyer, you can see that, and I could even ask it to show that, really break this out by, every year, because, you know, interest rates were lower. And then, wait, what's this?
But
Minimum rate
right.
is showing minimums in the 20s and then the maximum. But if I'm talking to a client, and again, I would probably, let's break this down. What would I ask it? Because I need this to be a little more specific.
What can you hold up for 1 second? Can you show the chart one more time while you're thinking about what you wanna write
Okay,
in
go
that
ahead.
prompt? You can write it, but so I'm a consumer. I'm looking at this and I'm going, "Okay, so the interest rates are on the y-axis on the left. It says mortgage rates by percent on the left, and it shows me by year, and it's showing me the 60s, that the max was about 6%. But when you get to the 80s, the minimum was about 16% and the max was 18%. And even now in the 2020s, the minimum was between 2 and 3% or 4%. And then the max is about 8%. So and then it's showing the nice blue line or the shaded area. It's doing that to show you that there is a difference. So you could I almost wonder if it would calculate it. Don't do this, but it's telling me that there is a difference between that. Meaning that in 2010, the difference would have been like 4 and 5. So the difference is 1% or 1.5%. I'm guessing because I see it's not a perfect whole number, but you know what, in the
Oh, I got
1980s.
it, because in the 20s, we were as low as 2.5%.
Right,
But the
but
highest right now in the 20s is we're close to 8%. And
and the
so,
difference between that is the shaded area. So if you the easiest one to do is 1980 right now, I think,
but
because
I want to do the 20s. Well, actually, you're probably right. Like, I guess in my mind, and because this is my realtor friend in Nebraska, let me hide this comment for a second. what I am seeing in this is now I'm having a conversation with my buyer. And I have a buyer that's on the fence, and I don't want to buy because I want interest rates to get here. This to me says we're probably never going to get back here again, because if you look at the trend in the lowest rate, we have never been here. Never. And if you go, this is why real estate agents, we need to look at data, but we need to go read and listen to the news, read news articles, pay attention to everything that's happening, because we had COVID. And I believe had the feds never dropped the interest rates during COVID, that we would not have to have a correction, because interest rates would probably still be here. And so we'd have a stable market. But
Yep.
because we dropped the interest rates and we caused, so now you have low interest rates, you got more buyers like, oh, I could buy, I could buy, I could buy. But inventory kept going down, which caused home prices to keep going up. And the reason why reason why we had less inventory is because we had a stay on foreclosures, meaning if you weren't paying your mortgage and you were in a foreclosure proceeding, the bank wouldn't foreclose, because some people were forced to furlough, some people lost their jobs, so the banks were not allowed to foreclose. So now and then you had people that were given the ability to do a forbearance, meaning I could choose not to pay my mortgage, but once the forbearance was lifted, I could just start paying my mortgage again and be in a position where I could keep my house. What people may not know is that if you were in pre-foreclosure prior to COVID, and then the bank wouldn't foreclose, these people didn't keep paying their mortgages. And so now now you have situations where there's a few pre-foreclosures out there, but banks then went back and worked with people that were in pre-foreclosure, almost like a forbearance, and they let them maybe put what they owed on the back end, and now they can't sell or won't sell because all their equity got caught up in the fines and the fact that they weren't paying their mortgages. So now inventory is kind of stuck. So
Hmm.
that's the gridlock that we have, is that people don't want to sell, because they say, for example, my house was worth 200,000, but because I wasn't paying my mortgage and I had 50,000 in equity, I lost it because I was in a forbearance. That's the problem we have here. I'm sure I said it
Yeah.
right.
Yep. And I know that that happened because the house that well I used to have in Florida, um, you can't even refinance until you are out of the forbearance, and then you miss some of that opportunity. Now I know that that house is out of that, but it was an interesting thing to happen. But at least it was available to people. I will say, I mean, people needed it. But that
So,
chart, I'm telling you, that chart to me, I'm so glad you asked the question, because my brain was like, "Oh, let them handle it." But if you were really thinking this way, like this right here, Carrie, I don't know if you want to give people access to the PDF or a link or throw it somewhere later, but that's good information to have. It's already built. You can take the screenshot, people can run with it. They can screenshot it from here, just pause it and screenshot it and share it with their clients. I mean,
I can just share. I can copy the link, image file, create the link,
or you already
make
downloaded the
it
link. You can put it
discoverable.
in Google,
I'm
like a
going to make it
Google folder.
discoverable. I'm going to copy the link, hold this
Okay.
thought, and then I will paste it in the feed over on YouTube, and then I'll give it to you, Mina, to paste it on your YouTube channel. How about that?
Okay.
Let me go find it. I'm like, where am I? So here I'm sending it to you privately. Then maybe what I should do
I
here,
want to
I'll
see
make
what
it
it
a
looks like.
bit.ly. I'll make it a bit.ly link, so that'll make it easier for everyone. Like,
Bitly's can be special and go away though.
trying to
Okay, so
find
it
my
doesn't give the image. It doesn't give the image.
it doesn't.
No.
What did it give you?
I can share it and show you.
Oh no, you don't have to share. I just
It
want to
just
see.
basically says image output is not supported in a shared chat.
So what we'll do is go back and rewind and take a screenshot.
For real, like pause it, take a screenshot, use it. I mean, enjoy it. Because one of the things you'll find is that ChatGPT with on the left side, if you wanted to go back your dashboard, I call it the dashboard. I don't know what ChatGPT calls it sometimes. Let's see. I'm going to minimize it, but ChatGPT calls it something. But that, you know what I'm talking about on the left side, if you're on the ChatGPT, it calls it
I don't know
it's
what
a
you're hitting.
sidebar. The
Oh, sidebar.
sidebar. Yeah. So you can rename your chats. So, whatever your chat is right now, maybe you don't like it because it's like embrace creative and mine says like embrace creativity and I did graphs. I'm like, that's not creativity. That was MRED stuff. Like that's what I would have wanted it to be. So you might want to name it. And what's nice about you naming it is if you have the app on your phone, you can search it
Mhm.
on your phone. I don't know that I can search the app that I downloaded on my computer. Like I have it, but the searching capability. Oh, I can search on my. Ooh, I can search if you download the app on your computer. I know it's available for Mac, and I believe that it is actually available for um, the PC. You can search, which is great because if you name it what you want to name it, you can always find it. You can the cloud space one you can't search, but you can hit Control F and sometimes it'll find it.
So let's do this, Mina. Let's tell everyone come back for the morning show with Dr. Mina Blazy and Carrie, me, on Sundays. Our goal is to go live by 8:30, 8:45, 9. We just figure it out. It's Sunday morning. Mina's still trying to run out here and go to church. But
I'll go to the second service.
because it's really early where Mina is. So we're figuring this thing out to called going live on a Sunday morning. So again, thanks for joining us. I'm Carrie Little. I am the designated managing broker of Caremark Realty Group. I want to thank you for joining us. Please take a moment and follow me here on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, and on Instagram. And Mina,
And I am Dr. Mina Blazy. You can follow me on YouTube. It's MJ Blazy on YouTube. Everywhere else, it's
I got it
Mina
down there.
J
It's
Blazy.
in front of
Perfect.
me. It's in front
Click,
of me.
click, or screenshot, whatever it is you need to do, and come and hang out with us. This is fun. It's really fun for me to talk about data and try to make it accessible for everybody. And it's early in the morning, and I like to get up early anyway. So thank you so much.
All right. See you later. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Go Bears.
Go Bears. Go Bears. Yeah, go Bears.